welcome to my video, which we may call scientific origins, maybe. Basically I made this to make a really simple explanation of what science believes. We won't get in closely into the actual science, since the people watching this most likely wouldn't understand that anyway. So okay, let's get started. Today most physicists believe that the universe isn't all there is. We believe there are several universes, possibly an infinite number, existing in a multiverse. There are actually hard evidence for this. Scientists have studied radiation data gathered by telescopes, and they found anomalies that show gravitational pull from what must be other universes. This of course defeats the fine-tuning argument, because if there are billions of universes and they all have different properties, then there's just a matter of time before one actually works to support life. The origins of the multiverse is unknown. It may be eternal. We also know that something can come from nothing through quantum fluctuations. If you want to read up on that, for example, study Lawrence Krauss' work, and there are several scientists. Just Google it. Now, moving on to the universe. Most likely the universe was caused by two other universes colliding in the multiverse. Evidence supporting this is, for example, how galaxies are formed with scattered materials and so on. Also we have the cosmic background radiation, and cosmic background radiation is really all we need to prove the Big Bang. It's definitive proof. It's final. Moving on to the origin of Earth. The standard model for the formation of solar systems is the solar nebula hypothesis, that the solar system and all the solar systems are formed by a large rotating cloud of interstellar dust and gas called a solar nebula. It was composed out of hydrogen and helium and created shortly after the Big Bang, that would be 13.8 billion years ago, and also out of heavier elements ejected most likely by supernovas. About 4.5 billion years ago, the nebula that would form our solar system began a contraction that most likely was triggered by a shockwave of a nearby supernova. This made the nebula rotate. As the cloud began to accelerate, gravity and also other factors flattened it into what is known as a protoplanetary disk. Due to collision and the momentum of the larger debris, kilometer-sized protoplanets began to form, which orbited the nebula's center. The center of the nebula collapsed rapidly because of the lack of momentum, the compression heating it until the nuclear fusion of hydrogen into helium began. After more contractions, a T-Tauri star ignited, and this is what we call the Sun today. Meanwhile, in other parts of the nebula, gravity caused matter to condense around a dust particle, which grew bigger and bigger until they started to form planets. This took around 10 to 20 million years. Now the proto-Earth, which Earth is called at this point, grew by acceleration until its inferior was hot enough to melt the heavy metals. Having higher densities, these metals sank, resulting in the separation of the primitive mantle and the core. This was around 10 million years after Earth began to form. This produced the layer structure of Earth, and also setting up the formation of Earth's magnetic field. Once water crashed on the planet in asteroids, the process of life began. A common misunderstanding is that DNA just popped into existence. This is of course wrong. Basically only creationists believe this. DNA also evolved from RNA, and all this is caused by the laws of physics. It's a really unlikely event. If it wasn't, we would see life everywhere. But if the odds aren't zero, it is possible that it will happen, and since the universe is so huge, it most likely actually will happen, and probably happens several times. Coal and water turn into simple compounds. Simple compounds combine into more advanced ones. Advanced compounds combine into what is known as, and I actually don't know how to pronounce this, but nucleotides, something like that, which together formed RNA. The origin of man, and this of course would be evolution. and abiogenesis. The theory of evolution is supported by basically every scientific field that is even slightly connected, like plate tectonics, for example, geology, archaeology, biology, of course. So this is really not a theory anymore, it's basically the conclusion of science, of biology. It's unquestionable. Now, it happened like this. Once we had natural selection and self-replicating DNA molecules, mutations in time led to more complex life. The first life was not plant, nor bacteria, nor animals. It was a common ancestor of them all. Very, very simple. In time, natural selection, that is, the fact that the beneficial mutation heightens the odds of breeding and therefore passing on your genes, led to complex life. Fish became amphibian, amphibian became reptile, all the way up to mammals and humans. Evidence supporting this is mainly DNA and the geographical placement of the living species. Also fossils, of course, but we actually don't need fossils to prove evolution. The theory of evolution stands on DNA alone. What's amazing about fossils, though, is that we have never ever found one in the wrong place. That is the wrong rock layer. Fossils are always found in the rock layers they are expected. There's not one case where this is not true. So this is also incredibly strong proof for evolution. What really amazes me is that creationists can believe that these two are related, and they can believe that these two are related, but that they all could be connected and all related to each other. That's completely impossible and insane. There may even be more out there, beyond the multiverse. Maybe the multiverse is just a smaller part of an even grander thing, like the super multiverse. We just don't know. Maybe we'll never find out, but that doesn't mean that we should explain it like God did it. So anyway, that was my video about scientific origins. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and have a nice day.